Hey, good evening. It's Seeker here. I'm in Massachusetts. A lot of history here. Great fan of John Adams and his son Quincy. I think he was the third president. And Samuel Adams, boy, he did a bunch of stuff in the Revolutionary War. He didn't get a lot of credit. But I'm making this video because my granddaughter, who's 10, hi Jade, uh, she asked me to include her in one of these ramblings that I do, and so I needed it to be relevant to her and maybe any of you other people that have children or grandchildren, and it's a warning about some things. George Washington, number one favorite president. I'm also a fan of Lincoln, of course, and Calvin Coolidge and Ronald Reagan. He brought us out of the doldrums of 20% interest rate by tax cuts. And all right, I don't want to get off on a tangent here. I just wanted to give you an overview of Washington's farewell address, and it's really worth perusing. Read it, teach it if you can, take it in your heart. But what he had a lot to say about. We had a big problem during the Revolutionary War. Our founding fathers, the slave owners that they were, and if you really think that, all right, we won't even go there. I can get off on tangents, so, but we had a bad time. These guys that revolted, they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. I mean, if you could just think about all that for a minute. But anyways, George Washington served 2 terms, and he could have been the king of this country had he wanted to, but he didn't really want to. He was sold on this representative republic. He warned about credit. He said that we needed to preserve our credit. If we, in time of war, we needed to borrow some money from England or France or whatever, which we had to do. We borrowed money. The French came to our aid because they hated the English, but we got lucky on some stuff. But he said our treasury needed to be solid, sound. And once we had that issue over with, we needed to pay it off. Whatever we had to borrow to fight a war or whatever, we needed to get it paid. We did not need to throw this down to the next generation. He was adamant about it. On the same line, talking about credit, he said that there would be political factions that would rise up, political parties, and what they would try to do was there's a popular problem or some issue, and they would rise up and try to solve it. But that wasn't their intent. That would not be their intent. Their intent, being in federal government, which this has come to fruition, but their intent would be to take power from the people to solve this whatever issue, to take the power from the people and to put it in the hands of unjust men. And that's paraphrasing the quote. But this is what's happening now. You have politicians that are... You have to understand the Constitution. You know, the federal government's supposed to be in this little box. Article 1. It says what the federal government's supposed to do. There's not supposed to be a Department of Education, Department of Energy, Department of this. I mean, none of this stuff is in the Constitution. But these political factions have gotten together, and the Republicans just as bad as the Democrats, almost. The only thing the Republicans got is a couple of people down there, which shout out to the Freedom Caucus. But pretty much the Democrats are progressives, and the beginning of it was Theodore Roosevelt and his cousin or whatever he was, FDR. These are just big government people, and they're going to help you. They're going to solve your problem for you. But they're going to take the power from you and put it in their hands. And then you trust them. Hey, have they lied to you? Well, yeah, they have. So what you snowflakes need to understand is read George Washington's farewell address, and he will tell you that people like Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton want to put that big jackboot right on your neck and drag you to Venezuela or Cuba or North Korea. All right, this is not your inheritance. Okay, this jackbooted thug stuff. Excuse me again, I caught myself. This is not your inheritance. All right, your inheritance is your liberty. It's God-given. It doesn't come from government. The only thing government can do is interfere with your liberty. You have the right to pursue your happiness, but you don't have the right to pursue your happiness dipping into my wallet or anybody else's wallet. All right? Be fair, be kind, love people. If you got a problem, help somebody else out and you'll forget about your own. All right? Your neighbor's hungry, feed them. Don't dip into my wallet, send it to Washington, my $1, send it to Washington, and then your neighbor gets 10 cents and they get fat and happy up there and pinching a bunch of girls' butts and doing whatever they do, hanging out with those perverts at MSNBC. Poor Matt Lauer. Ugh. All right. Be good, be kind. If your problems are tough, deal with somebody else's for a while. You forget about your own. God bless America. God bless your country. God bless you. And always trust your captain. And don't be a science denier. Later. Seeker out.